It's all about building your resume.
That's the beginning of connections to the industry.
The best way to build your resume is through an internship.
It's what won me that position.
If you are in film school and you do not do an internship, you are an idiot.
How important are internships in the industry? Very important.
Okay. My personal opinion on this factor is if you are in film school and you do not do an internship, you are an idiot. That is essential to do it. You should not be able to graduate without doing an internship. One of the things we always are telling our students is if you're at film school, you're in a great place. Your grades really don't matter. Your degree doesn't really matter. What you need to leave here with is a great resume, a great reel, and a great network. That's what people look at. It's a creative industry. It's similar to an artist. No one's going to ask an artist, well, what paints do you use? Where did you go to school? They're going to look at your painting and go, that's great work. The best way to build your resume is through an internship. If your resume is a lot of jobs that have nothing to do with film, it's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. Right. Likewise, the best way to learn about the production companies, the production environment in the city you're at, is to do an internship. Most production companies, most production environments are so small that you will get to meet everyone working in the industry in your area.
You just said
one internship.
Right, and you just said the words, you will get to meet everyone in that particular company. And you'll get to meet anybody that's associated with them as subcontractors. And you'll get to meet maybe other people down the line that knew them. And pretty soon you start to see all of these dots connected, and you find that it's easier for you to work your way into the industry of that particular community.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying it's Phoenix or LA, it can be Austin, it can be wherever you are. There is a community that's out there doing production. Yeah. And so when you go for an internship, that's the beginning of connections to the industry. When you subcontract, that's connections to the industry. When you build that resume with those and you have phone numbers, you also have recommendations. And all of those things help you to get into the industry.
It's all about building your resume. I think one of the things we really stress, and we focus on it in the first class, is what does your resume look like now? And if you're in your first semester of film school, your resume looks horrible. There's no film experience, there's no production experience. Your jobs were working at a fast food restaurant or the local library. Whereas you want to leave, then the only thing you want to have on your resume is, I worked at this production company, I worked at this production company, I worked at this post company, I did marketing. Anything that relates to that. And even if you go to an internship and it turns out all you do is answer phones or get lunches, it still is a notch on your resume that's going to be better than all of the people who didn't do internships.
Well,
most people should be able to do 2 internships, 3 internships in their experience.
A couple of things there that the sacrifices you do by getting coffee for people, and Ryan Smith used this thought. He said one of the ways he got to finally work with his hero, the guy that he learned from to win 2 VMAs, he won 2 VMAs, was he brought him coffee every morning. And he told me this. He says, I had no money. He says, I had to find a way to get the money. And he said he knew I didn't have money. But I found a way to get money, just enough money to get him coffee every morning. He says it meant I had less food on the table. He says I ate with almost no money. I had to go to garbage cans and when people were throwing things out at the end of the night out of a Kentucky Fried Chicken. But he said ultimately it's what won me that position. So sacrifice. It's really important to sacrifice. And I'll say this, that if you get an internship here in Phoenix and you're going to LA, that's okay too. Not every internship should be in LA if you're going to LA.
Yeah, absolutely.
I happened to do an internship in Chicago, and I did one in LA. I was bound and determined to do one in LA, but I also didn't mind doing one where I was working. So do your internships.
And the other aspect is your story about Ryan Smith is fantastic, because it's not just do the internship, but make the most of your opportunity there. If you're working in film, it's a creative industry. People are friendly. They want to help out. I don't mean go chat up the director and producer, but if you're there on set, talk to the other PAs, talk to the grips, talk to the electrics. Most of them are willing to help out. They're interested. It's the energy you bring, that excitement is so important. I'm convinced one of the ways I was able to move through my career is I would go and would work as a PA, or I'd be an intern in the post house, and I would ask the people there is, hey, do you mind if I stay overnight and just play with some of the software to get a sense of it? And because we all love what we do, because they loved what they did, they were excited to see my excitement. So they would stay a half hour and say, hey, let me show you something. They'd come in a little bit early and we'd chat. And they're like, oh, so what did you play with last night? And then very quickly it came, hey, we need somebody who can run this system. Shawn, you've been playing on it for 2 hours a night for the last 3 weeks. You want to give it a try? You need to show this excitement. You need to show that you're there. The worst thing I see is when people don't do internships. The second thing I see is we get a lot of people who go to internships and they just sit there and they do everything they're told and they're very nice, but they leave and we sit there and go, how many interns did you have last year to the company? And the company's like, I don't know. Yeah, there was a guy here and he was okay, but they don't even remember him.
I'll give you an example of that. Over at Channel 5, we had interns that would be hired to work on the assignment desk. Well, do you know what the assignment desk is? Answering phones. I had them come back to me and go, I'm only working assignment desk. And I said, then go talk to the reporters. Go talk and get under the wing of the camera people. You are sitting in the same building they are. You don't have to go through security. You're already there. At a break, go talk to them and get under their wing. And those that did that, those that went out of their way to actually spend some time with those individuals that they wanted to learn from, actually came out of the internship doing well. The students who went in and only answered the phones and complained all the time, they didn't go anywhere.
Absolutely.
So it's very important, everything we're saying, get into the internship, sacrifice, go out of your way to get what you need out of it, and serve the company that you're with. All of those things are very important. And I'll add one last thing, Shawn, as we end on this. Don't wait for the instructor to come up to you and say, do you need an internship? Go get your own.
Yeah.
Let your fingers do the walking through the yellow pages and begin to connect with businesses. Don't wait for the instructors to wipe your nose, because if you're doing that, then you're never going to work.
You're absolutely right. I think you can pretty much cold call just any production company, any post company, and say, I'm a college student. I want to basically come and work for you for free, 5 hours a week, every Friday afternoon for the next 4 months. And just about every company would be like, sure, come on in. I think it's important to be able to say, I'm doing it for credit, so that they know that there's some way that they control you, that they know that you're going to show up and you're going to be conscientious. It's important to say every day or every week at the same period of time, so that they can give you work, they can give you interesting things. But that is absolutely, there's no reason. So many people are like, my dream is to work at this company. Cold call them, ask them for an internship. If they say they don't have an internship program, keep talking to them. Find out, well, would you like starting one? Do you mind if I come? A lot of times it's simply, okay, you don't have an internship, but I really love what you're doing. Can I come take a tour of the place? Can I come meet you? And most of the time, those companies will let you. Again, we love what we do in our industry, and when we see people excited about it, we usually don't mind having an hour here to talk to them, and that can build a fantastic relationship. The other thing I'd like to say is, people always ask, how do I get my first job? How do I get my first job? The vast majority of people who work in film get their first job. They get hired by where their internship
Especially
is.
nowadays.
I think literally I go through, and all of the people I know from film school, we all got our first jobs based on where we interned, they hired us. That's how I got my first job.
Sure. Okay, so bottom line, internships get 2 or more.